Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I've got another nail art tutorial for you, another myth and legend inspired one, so let's get started. Now I'm once again starting off with a bare nail, and I'm going to paint the background of the painting on the false tip, like directly on the false tip. I only buffed it a little to make it a little bit more rough so the paint doesn't slide around as much. Then I'm going to apply acrylic, just clear acrylic on top of it, and then on top of that I'm going to do the foreground, like the actual main part of the painting, just so you get a little bit more depth. However, if you want to paint on your nails for whatever reason, it is very much fun to do, I can assure you that. But anyway, if you want to do it as well, but you don't want to do acrylics, you can totally just do this on your own natural nails and just, you know, put the paint on top of itself instead of putting acrylic between it. You'll have a little bit less depth, but it will still look good. Like I used to do it that way as well, so yeah. But anyways, this time I wanted to do a more well-known mythical being, thing, person. Yeah. And then the last time, so this one I'm going to paint Merlin, the magician. And basically, yeah, well, I don't think I need to explain to you the entire myth of like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table and Merlin. Like, I don't think I have to explain any of that because it's like one of the most well-known myths in the world. But yeah, although one thing, seriously, if you have never seen it before, like, trust me, there's people who are like, yeah, but like everyone has seen the Monty Python movies. Well, I hadn't actually seen all of them either. I'd never seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and then I randomly encountered it while I was just looking around on Netflix, and it's so funny, like it's hilarious. And there's like so many like random movie quotes that a lot of people use, but like you just never really, like, you know the quotes, but you don't know the movie, you know. With the bunny, the murderous bunny, like it's just so funny. So yeah, if you want to see a more fun take on the whole myth of King Arthur, I definitely recommend checking out Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Not sponsored or anything, it's like seriously, it's just so funny. It's hilarious, like seriously. Anyway, but yeah, that's not what I'm painting on my nails today. What I'm painting on my nails today is more like the end of Merlin. Because, well, you know, it's a myth, it's a legend, there's multiple endings to the story, of course. Some say that Merlin just died at the end of his life, like most people do. And other people, though, say that he didn't die, he just went to the forest, let himself be seduced by a forest nymph, and then went to sleep in a tree for, like, you know, until England needs him again. Considering he hasn't actually shown up in recent ages either, you know, sort of makes you wonder if that's even true. Probably not, I guess, but yeah, point being, that's the story that's just, yeah, it's more fun than the story of him just dying when he's like old, so yeah. That's what I decided to paint on my nails though. Merlin standing in front of a tree, presumably about to be seduced by a tree nymph, forest nymph, whatever. I gotta admit that my design of Merlin is, well, partly inspired by Disney, in which he wore blue. I just sort of felt like that was more fun than grey. But also inspired a little bit by Gandalf with like the long robes and the hat and all. Because, you know, you're painting something on a nail, so you want it to be easily recognizable. So you need to make it look like something, you know, commonplace. Well, okay, wizards aren't exactly commonplace, I suppose. But like everyone knows the looks of a cliche wizard, so that's the sort of vibe that I was going for as well with this. Yeah, he's facing the tree obviously, so I didn't have to try and paint a face. And yeah, decided to keep it simple. Also, by the way, fun fact about wizards, they like, well, for one, they didn't have to like look weird, because instead of like, well, okay, let me explain this correctly. A witch should not have looked like a witch in the old days of witches, because being a witch was actually dangerous, because, you know, you could get burned alive. Whereas wizards were actually not regarded as evil or scary, they were actually regarded as, in their time, as like, you know, these really wise old men. Yeah, so it wasn't dangerous to actually look like a wizard. It wasn't dangerous to be a wizard in that sense, because people would actually admire you instead of wanting to, you know, murder you. Which is, you know, rather a big difference. Also, one fun fact is that wizards in the old stories actually, well, a big part of their magic was language and wisdom. Because language and wisdom were things like back in the really olden days when humanity had just surfaced and all. You know, not a lot of people were very good with words, and wizards were. So that was basically the source of their like magic, their way of doing magic. And also, instead of just casting spells, they would have to sing. Like, imagine Lord of the Rings if Gandalf would have to like break into song every time he wanted to do magic. It would have been really funny. But yeah, so that's another thing that's, I don't know, like I thought it was kind of funny because that's really not something you often, you know, see anymore in movies, I guess. But it was like originally a thing. So yeah, anyway, more technically about the painting, what I do always like to do is, especially for the top coats, is to make sort of a border around the painting and leave a little bit of acrylic bare, just because I feel like the top coat adheres better that way, if it has clean acrylic to adhere to. And then we're done. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please click the like button, it would really help me out. And I really hope to see you again in my next video. Bye!